guys, Rick Shaw here, 1st of August, 2021. We're having a beautiful, look at these skies now. Look at the skies now. Doesn't mean the storm can't move in because it's kind of windy, but seems okay. This morning I got back is in spasm, pretty good. I took some of Wes's arnica here just a bit ago, and I was real happy I had the bed with the platform on it so I could throw my feet over. It took me about 20 minutes to get from laying down up, and I can twist around, but I can't bend side to side or hardly forward, or it just feels like I got somebody sticking a needle in my back. So it's just one of them things. It's because I think of the quick weather change that got me. Dang, leg was numb. Just when work was just asleep when I woke up. So from 3 this morning until 4, that was just getting out of bed. No walk. This is my first walk of the day. But got to stay on my feet. I'm afraid to sit down. So I've been staying on my feet since I've been up, and watched a few videos. Kids were sleeping for a good bit yet, and my sweetie was doing stuff outside. So I watched a few videos on there, and I saw one about Sean's amazing adventures, and he has a good one on there about laws. I'm going to put a link in the description. Check the guy out. Maybe we can get his subscriber numbers boosted a little bit because they're not real high. But he had some cool stuff about some of the laws here in the Philippines. And one of the laws about if your spouse is committing adultery and you kill them both, there's no charges. But that's a law also in a lot of places in the world, not just here. And he had another law about having a bow and arrow and stuff like that. I actually brought a couple when I was here, a couple of them. Real nice ones. One of them a PSE and then a Browning. And would shoot them, and actually put it on that. It's Carousel now. I forgot what it was before, and I sold it on there, and I had lots of callers on it. Finally sold it to a fella, and so there's a lot of these laws that overlook. And I used to go shoot back where the cops used to have a little get together on the weekends all the time, and they thought it was cool. Nobody ever said a thing about it. So some of them are just not enforced. I know the one about squatters. That's not really enforced very much. I do remember there was a huge squatter area in GMA. I mean, it was huge, and they posted things on there saying that get out. Told them to get out. So none of them, I don't think many of them did, because nothing changed. And then my buddy who was a cop said, those people, they're just going to get them out. It's not right. It was like around the market area. And they came in there with a whole bunch of trucks one night. I was actually going to work. They had me on a later shift than normal. And when I went through, I ran into this big traffic thing going, and it was like, whoa, what the heck is going on here? And they were going in there they had big sticks, and they were just smashing everything. The people who got out previous kept all their stuff, but all the rest of these people, they were just tearing these shacks down, and it didn't matter if there was their cooking stuff or stoves. It was all going in trucks in the garbage. And when I came through the next day, it was afternoon. That was all cleared out, and they were putting stalls up for market for people, selling vegetables and whatever they were selling. So, but none of those people were arrested or anything, just the ones that fought. But I saw some of them getting right in the cop's face, and some of the cops will be very, very lenient to people. I wouldn't go scream in a cop's face personally. I just wouldn't do that. But I seen some woman really getting in this cop's face while we were waiting to get through, and she was really pushing on him and shoving him, and he was just being mellow. He was being a real cool guy. He could have easily arrested her, I'm sure. But that's the way that one went. My little babies, it's It's almost 7, and they're still sleeping. They're usually up by now. But they're gonna love it when they get outside today. They're gonna be hounding me for motorcycle rides and stuff, and I got to get this walked off to get ready for them. Yesterday was a big day with them with the walks and all the stuff we were doing. That probably didn't help the back. You know, they constantly, even though they're getting big, they want me to carry, and it's getting to the point where I told them, guys, I just can't carry you no more. And then they'll pull on me like, oh. One of the things that really kills my back is if they got a hold of my hand and just start tugging on me. And Maddie's a good one for that. And I keep explaining it to him, don't do that, bub. You know, just stop doing that. And he just can't help himself. You know, he's just a little baby. And I love him to death. It's just I can't pick him up anymore. It's something I have to just not do. You know, and sometimes even when I'm sitting on the couch and they sit on my legs, man, it's not good. It's, you know, for some reason my legs are real tender. The one leg shriveled all up, and now the other one's starting. You know, I'm getting the same thing. Years ago I had this leg. It's got the muscle wasting, they call it. And it used to go numb and just be dead. You know, it would take me a while to get the thing alive. And now it's the same thing's happening to the one on the left. So not good at all. And their kids, they want me to chase them and you know, do all that stuff. But we were out for a after dark walk last night after we had our dinner, and we took a big walk. And they had that center over there straight ahead. That was all lit up. I don't know what was going on. A lot of people around there. We didn't go over anything, but they had lots of folks over there. It didn't really look like a party or anything, just a gathering, but they had all the lights on, so I don't know what's up with that. But it is a beautiful breezy day. It's cool. This is what I call Hawaii weather. Just super nice. This is the kind of weather I like. I like the sunshine. I'm glad these rains are moved off. The weather I've seen, it looks like it's gonna really mellow out here. You know, there's not a whole lot. Everything seems to be drawn off and away from us now. So, and I didn't see anything else coming. I'll have to watch the Westpac WX and see if there's any kind of storms in the Pacific yet. I'm not sure. I'll have to check that out. But we'll see. It's pretty breezy. I mean, you probably can't hear the wind. This muff thing works really good, even when I was on the motorbike. I'd like to get some more motorcycle vlogs. I definitely want to take the camera if Wes wants to go for a ride. You know, if we ride our bikes. He doesn't like the way the handlebars are. He might replace them. And if that happens, we'll go around and look for some handlebars. If he wants, I'll cruise with him. And maybe he can get one online even or something. We'll have to get the measurement on the what size it is and all that. But we might be able to adjust him. He's got that, I believe it's a CF Moto bike, 650. My neighbor over here has a 400. It's got two exhaust pipes, but I don't know if that's a twin cylinder. I didn't look at it close enough. It could be a single. I've seen a lot of bikes where they have a single cylinder and they run 2 pipes out of it, you know, just for evacuation, I guess. But I'm seeing a lot of really good reviews on these bikes, and the ones I've looked at, I'm just in amazement of the quality of them, the looks of them. It looks like the paint's really good, and it looks like the welds are fantastic. You know, the welds look really good. I was kind of amazed at that, and I'm not hearing of any problems. I know this guy over here with that 400, he zooms that thing around pretty good, and sounds good, fires right up. So he lives in that little place right over there. Nice young fella. I think his name was Bong. I can't remember now. I have to ask him again. I hate that my memory sometimes. I used to be so good at remembering a name. I remember when I first come here, we were riding on the boat and I met a guy named Steve from Australia. He was a fire control technician, you know, an installer and troubleshooter. And he had a wife named Marlene, Filipino wife. Met him on the boat, and then it was years later. Years later, we wound up going on the boat again, and this time we were in our tricycle, and there he was again, and he was on the boat again, and I said, "Hey, Steve, how you doing? Hey, Arlene," and he was like, he looked at me. I said, "Yeah, remember I met you on the boat last time." He's like, "Do you remember my name?" I said, "Yeah, I'm just stuck in my head. I don't know why, but that's how it used to be for me with names. Meet somebody and talk to him for a little bit, and years I could still remember the name, but now I must be getting old timers. Disease, because I forget some. I think it's mostly because the names I can't associate them with anything. Like I'm not going to associate some guy with a thing to smoke Mary Jane out of, bong. I guess I should have, but they got a lot of different names, like Syriaco. That's a heck of a name there. It's just different. It's harder for me to associate him with anything to remember. I usually associate a name real quick and then keep it, but we're doing pretty good. Saw those cats again when we were walking, and it was in the grass. I didn't see it because they ran out in front of us, but we were out with the flashlights, shining the flashlights, and we caught the eyes. And I was shining it right at it as we were moving closer, but it knew we were coming, so it kind of backed away and turned around. And I thought it had a bobbed tail on it. No, the tail's kind of long, because when it turned, I had the flashlight on it, and you could see the tail wasn't like a bobbed tail. It was a regular cat tail. And it does have like a little bit of pretty good stripes to it. It's like a burnish orange color. It looks like a pretty hefty cat. The feet are wide. I haven't found any footprints on there, even though it's been real wet. I looked over there earlier for footprints, and don't see any. I don't see any footprints anywhere. Ground gets kind of hard even when it rains. But when it was moving away, and it wasn't running away, it was just moving deeper into the grass. It's got a pretty dang wide foot on it. It's not a regular thin cat foot. It's pretty wide. I imagine it's got some serious claws, but it's like stumpy. It's not a real super long cat. It's a stumpy one. So, but I don't like the idea. If he was sitting in that grass like that, he's hunting. He's sitting there ambush hunting, looking for something to chase. And that's why I keep telling these kids, don't you go far from me. Mumu likes to run way the heck off up ahead, or if he's on his bike. And, I don't like that. I'd hate to see a van pull up and grab him. That's why I'm so glad this is a security neighborhood, but also a cat jumping out on him. Get him a cat scratch fever, a bit in the neck or something like that. So I don't know what these cats do. I've never really heard of anything around here where the cats are attacking anyone or anything like that, but I don't like the idea. I'm sure it's got to be a breeding pair that's here, since there was sighted of two of them. But I don't know. That's what we're running into, and that was just last night. We saw the eyes. So hopefully, and that was not far from the house. It was halfway in between my neighbor at the other end of the block and me, where we saw him, right on our side of the street in the grass. So, and I always do like to shine that light and look for eyes, like when I used to hunt out in the States. But I don't know. Hopefully this convent thing, I hope this thing lightens up so that we can go out and start checking the other islands out and stuff. That was our whole plan for being here in the Philippines, but it seems like they're not really letting anyone in. They got all these requirements. I think it's going to come to a passport where, who knows what kind of law they're going to make here. You just never know. But it's the way it goes. But there are so many people that you talk to. They're just because I talk to a lot of these people in here, and like when we were at the market, I was talking to the guy at the store. My wife and her mom went around. So I was just talking to the dude that was, where I was parked. He was running a little store. He has a little, he sells phone cases and all this sort of stuff. Wasn't wearing a mask or anything. None of the people in the shops were wearing a mask. A lot of the people, though, walking around outside were wearing them. I have to admit, that was, it was pretty much just about everybody. Not the face shield, but the mask. So they're scaring them into this. So they're covering up. Well, a lot of the shopkeepers weren't, and I was talking to him, and he said, he's not getting any kind of axe. His English was pretty good. And he said, no, he's not gonna. And his wife was there, a young girl, and she was like, no, not gonna do it. And then there were some other people came around, foreigner being there, and they came around and were talking, and I said, what do you guys think of this thing? And they were, no, they just, what for? The one older fella I talked to, he was like, what for? Why should I do that? We've not seen any of that around here, and I was like, you don't know anybody who had? Nope. And he goes, maybe that's somewhere else. Let him go get it somewhere else, the old guy was saying. He wasn't really that old of a guy, probably 60, my age. But he was saying, let somebody else get it, because they don't have this here, But there is a lot of stuff where they're fudging things even now in the news media. I just seen somebody sent me a thing saying that the people who are getting this Delta, 23% of them are dying. Somebody just sent me that. Well, I'd like to see that article. I would love to see a bunch of stuff like that, because I wonder how true that is. Look at the old numbers from the WHO and the CDC. Look at them. It's not showing that. It's just not showing that right now. So I don't know. We're going back on that again, but that's what's on my mind, guys. It's I'm here in this country. I'd like to stay here, but it seems like every passing day, it seems like it's not going to work out that way. We're doing things and getting ready. I'm not going to be stuck. I'm gonna be ready for it, and just the way it's got to be. I can't. I'm the protector of these kids, not some government. And if I say they shouldn't get this thing, they should. And they're giving this to little kids now, and they're offering them lollipops and stuff, and giving it to without the parents' will. And that's to me, those people should be in jail. And if something happens to that kid, put them up against the wall. It's just serious. This is a bunch of baloney. Morning. But that's how it's going. That's how it's going, guys. It doesn't seem like they're going to let up. I know there's a lot of places where you see people marching and doing all this stuff against it and all that stuff, but who knows? Who knows what's going to happen unless it comes out to a full thing. Like that deal that was going on in France hundreds of years ago. They're just going to keep pushing. They're not stopping. They're not stopping this stuff. And how they got a lot of these leaders to buy into this, it's got to be with money, or who knows. It's all over the world. Look at Canada. I think that fella up there's bought off. You look at that guy over in England, bought off. The Australians, they're they got to be bought off. Either that or they're just loony. You guys gotta go to the Australian news things and start watching, and they'll put these politicians that they have up there and watch them, and you tell me if you don't think they're nutty. They're nutty as a loon. It's scary how they look. I'm not kidding you. I actually went to we had a friend that they stuck into a loony bin. He actually had a aneurysm, and it messed him up. He had a good bit. He couldn't talk or anything, and his wife stuck him in one of these loony bins, and we went there to visit him, and he wasn't nutty or anything. He just couldn't react. He couldn't talk for a while. It wasn't like he had a stroke. It's just his mind was clouded. It was very clouded. But we could talk to him. He couldn't really answer, but we knew what he was saying. And I couldn't believe the people in that place, and they look just like everyday people until you really take a close look at them. We had one girl in there. She had like a long gown on down to her ankles, and you could see she was just beautiful built. She looked like an Indian maiden, not India from India, but an American Indian maiden. And she had real long black hair, dark skin, and I'm not kidding. She was. I had to say, she was really a striking looking woman. She was extremely beautiful, and she looked real healthy. She had nice teeth. She was smiling when she was on the other side, and then she started walking over towards us because we were strangers in there. And as soon as she got up to me, she stuck her face in mine and went, she started doing this weird shit in my face. I was like, whoa. And then she started flailing her arms and screaming and all that stuff. And finally, the two women that were like the orderlies, just very gently, they were real cool. They grabbed her, come on, honey, and they took her over and they put her in a restraining chair. And I was asking the lady, I said, what happened? She says, well, she starts winding up. That's just the beginning of it. So now what we do is we just put her in a restraining chair, and she'll be okay in an hour or two. And I said, how long has that girl been in here? They said, oh, she's been in here for years. She's been in here for a long time. And there were quite a few of them. Very, very strange, what was going on. We saw a lot of people talking to people in thin air. And this is what it looked like to politicians in Australia. That's what it reminded me of. It's a shame that they're running the show down there, but I'd like to see them just try something different. With all these lockdowns that are happening, and just more and more and more of them, and how can they prove it's working? Apparently, it's not working because they're doing more. They just keep doing more and more and more. They got different places where they have opened up, and the numbers are the same. And I don't know about this, all these different variants, but somebody sent me a paper. I had put it on the Facebook, and they sent me a paper about when these variants are going to be released to the public. On schedule. There's one that's going to be released in August, September. It goes November and December. They're going to have all these variants to these things that are going to. This is the date that the news media gets it, and it's like, oh, come on. It seems more and more. It just seems like a plan. I know people say, oh yeah, well you need to get your shot and you need to do this and because it's really I don't know. Let me do my thing. You do yours, but they're starting to push this of where if you don't get it, you're the one who causes everything. You're the one at fault. You're the one spreading it. That's the attack they're taking against people who don't want it. And the more they do that kind of stuff, when has this ever been done in history before? I just don't. I've never seen this before. That they're making this huge push for this. I mean, they're offering lottery. It's like buying a lottery ticket. You get this thing, you got a chance to win $1 million. Well, what the hell is that? They never did that for flu shots. If they care for you so much and they care for the people so much, why didn't our friend over here, 28 years old, who needed dialysis, why didn't they give him that? Why didn't they give him the dialysis for free so that he could live? He's dead now, 28 years old. He had a problem with his kidney. Why didn't they fix that? What about all these people here dying of diabetes? And it's really, the numbers here, the government numbers aren't so high, but the real numbers of boots on the ground here, it's because people don't go to the doctor. They don't got the money. There's no healthcare and welfare here for these people who work in sari stores because there's no PhilHealth for them. They're not gonna take their pittance they make and buy that. So, you guys don't realize that there are people here who only make a couple dollars a day. Lots of them. You look at what is it, Coco here? I think it's like $13 a day. That's what he gets, and they're happy to get it. I mean, they're very happy to get it, and they work long hours. And they're working today. It's a Sunday. They're wanting extra. They want extra money. That's what they do. So I don't know if he's got if they're paying his PhilHealth or anything like that. I'm going to find out. And see what if the meter land is following the rules. I know when I was working, they set me all up with all the stuff I needed. The Social Security for here. They set me up for the, all the stuff. I got the multi-card that they have. And somebody told me, though, all the Social Security that was paid in, I can get all that back. I don't know. We have to go down to the office and see. But, I was all set up with that, and they paid into all the different things and paid the taxes and all that stuff. But are these guys doing it? Are these Demeter Land? I'll find out. I'm going to find out what's going on. But I had a health coverage. We had different cards. They would change it every year to try to get a better deal for all their people. But really good coverage. The only funny thing was when my sweetie went in to have the baby, we had coverage for childbirth, but then they switched the insurance right before. I'm talking a month before, and that new insurance didn't have childbirth, and then the next year they switched it back to the insurance we had, so it covered childbirth, and then right before Maddie was born, they switched it again, and so all 3 babies, I lost the coverage on that. So that was kind of a bummer. But the C-section here, I think I did have PhilHealth, which paid a percentage, and I think for our cost was 60-some thousand each one, and that was pretty cool. The first one, the doctor, I said, "Hey, look, I don't have." She said it needs to have a C-section because she pooped in there, and then also face pretty small. And I said, "You got to do it." But I'm going to tell you what, I don't have the cash for whatever this is going to cost right now. I got this much, and I didn't want to take like emergency money, even though that was kind of an emergency. And she was like, "No problem, no problem." So she did give us a break, and we paid her over a couple of months, which was kind of cool. I had a little bit in savings, and I thought, okay, so I'll pay just a little bit of it. Because even though I was living on a small amount per month, I was getting more than that I just wasn't using. I was living here trying to see if I could do it on $500 a month, and we did. We did it on $500 a month. But that was towards the end of that, and I wouldn't recommend it. It can be done, but if you want to come here and live on $500 a month, don't expect Western. We lived in a place that had the water would come on for maybe 2 hours a day. That's just how that went. No pressure. You had to have a low pan on the floor to get the water, because if you took a garden hose from the floor and raised it up just a foot or so, you lost your pressure head and you had no water. So none of the faucets or anything worked like that. Everything was Tabo. We had to fill up big 55-gallon drums with water when the water was on, and you couldn't fill it up with a hose or anything like that. You had to put it in this pan and then Tabo it into the big into 5-gallon buckets and then dump it in your barrels that we had. We had a couple barrels that we kept the water on, and then sometimes it would go 3-4 days no water, and they don't care. The guys who were running the water, they didn't care. But before we moved out of that place, a new water company from GMA was coming in, and we had them put in our own line. A lot of the neighbors were they shared the line coming from the street, which wasn't too far, maybe 70-80 feet, and they shared the line, so they had no pressure. When the people in there started using the water, they would have no pressure. So people on my side of the street, when we were putting our pipe in, they said, "Hey, can we tap in your line?" And I'm like, "No." And they're like, "Yeah, but it'll save us money." Yeah, no. So our house had really good pressure, because that was a 12-inch line coming off the street. I seen them when they were making the connections, and we only had a half-inch line coming in, but we had really good pressure, and nobody tied on to that one, so we had lots of water. But we couldn't use any of the pipe in the walls because all the plastic had broken, and they were just nubs at the wall. It would have had to just been totally redone. I didn't want that house. I definitely didn't want to fix too much up. I did put a gate in so I could park my Piaggio, and I concreted, and I did a few things, screens up and stuff like that. But I was afraid if I fixed that place up, my wife was going to want to stay there, and I didn't. I just hated the idea of opening up my gate and having to watch that I wasn't going to step in one of the 15 piles of dog poo that that were there. You know, that was there. And it seemed that even though the kids were starting to grow, they would always have green boogers and sniffles and sick. I was getting them from time to time. And then what happened was when we got away from there, all that went away for the kids. Just boom, gone. And they were all born in that house. It was just gone. Well, I think what it was the dog poop here. I'm not kidding you. An hour after the dog poops in the sunshine, somebody runs over it. It's powder. It's not a big wet sticky dog poo. It just dries up immediately, and then somebody runs over it with a tricycle wheel, or kids step in it, or something like that, and then it's dog poop dust, and you're breathing it. It was windy over there too. Not windy like here, but it was pretty windy. Look how windy we are today. Clouds are moving in. And the clouds are still coming from the north. Well, they're coming basically from the west today. That's where they're coming out of today. But I'll go ahead and let you go. Just had to keep staying on my feet and walking around. So you guys all take care. Pray for these leaders that they'll open up their eyes and see this and just, hey, it's a flu. You got to deal with it. You can't just keep shutting people down. I'm thinking about the Filipino people. If they do a complete lockdown again, I mean, this seems like a really big thing to smash anything that's left of their businesses. So it's a shame. And I do know people that are up in that NCR that bailed. They left the area because they don't want to go through this kind of crap. And I guess it's going to be one where you're not even allowed to leave your house. I don't know about people working. I saw something on about essential people. Who's going to be essential though? So I don't know. So I'll go ahead and talk to you later. You guys take care and pray for your leaders. Pray for everybody. Don't be hating on anyone. So this is Rick Shaw out.